I've been waiting to say this just like this for a long time. Hello there, and welcome to the Star Wars Guys YouTube channel, where the Force is family. I am Master Paul.
And I am back from the dead.
Mando on Fire, aka Michael, is back. And of course, Jonathan's here with us, so is Phil McCracken. Cash Money should be joining us here shortly. But yeah, Michael, welcome back officially to the Star Wars Guys.
Yeah, thank you for having me back. Of course, it's been a little while, but for the most part, since I've been back, it feels like I've never really left anything.
Yeah. By the way, hello to our grandmother who's right now behind Michael.
Hi.
Yeah. But so yeah, basically this stream is going to be all about catching up with Michael. He's going to tell us, I mean, we kind of did a stream where you recapped boot camp with us while we were down in Fort Jackson.
Yeah, but
and we can certainly we can go over that again. But now now you can also talk to us about your AIT stuff. And of course, we'll talk to you about what sort of stuff you've missed out on.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. By the way, for anyone who is also current military or prior service, an invitation is extended to you in case you all want to talk about your experiences versus mine.
I know we got one veteran that's in here right now. Hello, Felix, that says, hello, Paul, and welcome back, Michael. But real quick, before we do that, let's clear out these chats. Phil, you bombed us with a lot of them. Hashtag justice for Star Trek 5. Hashtag we need more Skyrim. It's coming. I don't know yet when, but we'll play more Skyrim. Captain Fandom Nerd. In fact, I think this is Captain Trek. Says Star Trek 5 is a nightmare. Then you replied, no hate for Star Trek 5. Hashtag welcome back, Michael. And hashtag cash money loves Star Trek 5. So, Michael, you've been gone a while. We don't just have that fancy intro now. I have different clips that I'll play just randomly in the show, but there's one that I always play anytime someone brings up Star Trek 5, and it's this one.
Excuse me, I'd just like to ask a question. What does God need with a starship? I said, what does God need with a starship?
Jim, what are you doing? I'm asking you a question.
Best clip of all Star Trek.
And we do by the way, have a shirt regarding that. But I also want to say hello to Cobra Disney Jedi, who says hello and welcome back, Michael. Alan Copeland says hello and welcome back. And Leia Rose says welcome back, Mando Mike.
Yep, thank you.
And Felix, we already said hello. All right. So, first question I have is just, how does it feel now to not just be back on the channel, but in general be back home?
So, it's definitely been somewhat of an experience where I've been able to catch up with some people, like some people from church today. It feels definitely weird to have this amount of freedom where I more or less can do whatever I want without having to be at a formation in a suit and uniform at a certain time.
Yeah, I can certainly relate to that one. You know, it was definitely a shock, even like coming home for leave right after A school for me before I had to go to Bahrain. It was an absolute shock just being able to do whatever I wanted, including nothing at all.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, so let's go ahead and wind the clock back a little bit to January. Now, actually, no, let's go back before this. So, sort of walk us through from the very beginning when you first got the idea to join specifically the Army Reserves, and just sort of talk us through what you were thinking when you decided to do that.
So at first, I actually was very reluctant to join the military in the first place, just because I've only heard so much about the military from what you've had to say, and of course, just common knowledge things like getting smoked, having to do this amount of PT, and me at the time, I barely did any exercise, so for me, that was going to be my biggest challenge. But for the most part, it was actually Dad who kind of talked me into it.
Okay. And again, what made you specifically go for the Army Reserves?
So at the time, I thought that the Army Reserves would be best for me because I would be able to do my regular job here, which is at the caverns, as well as I'll be able to do my college whenever I go back. Still don't know really when that'll happen, but it'll happen eventually.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And then, of course, you left in January. In fact, I believe it was January 4th that you
Mhm.
left, correct?
January 4th was my day zero, you can say.
Okay. Felix Kira says I can jump on for a little bit. Awesome. The link is in the pinned comment right here. If anyone wants to pop in and talk with Michael.
Hmm.
So you leave January 4th. You have a big plane ride to South Carolina, where Fort Jackson is.
Hmm.
And then walk us through that. You get off the bus, you get onto the bus, and then what?
So it was really late that night. It was more so we were just there waiting for something to happen, where we were just given a sheet of paper to study, like the army song, the different ranks. But of course, nobody did it at all because we didn't feel like it.
Right. By the way, hello, Felix. How you doing, man?
How you doing? Welcome back, Mike.
Yeah, welcome back. Yep,
Hi.
thank you.
Yeah. How's it feel?
Definitely feels good.
Yeah.
I got to drive both today and yesterday.
Nice.
And that's
Yeah.
the first time you've driven since January, correct?
Yesterday it was, and I drove Dad's diesel truck specifically.
Awesome. So yeah, you're on the bus and you get to Fort Jackson itself, and I'm sure
Mhm.
they got you off the bus in a very hurried, chaotic way, right? Basically yelling at you to get off the bus, right?
Actually, no. It was kind of calm, but still really uncertain of what was happening.
Oh, really?
Yep.
Yeah, I heard some stories that things have changed a little bit.
Yeah, things definitely got changed. In fact, there was a massive change when we were there, kind of in the beginning of AIT, but we'll get more into that later.
Okay. One thing that I do know for sure that's changed for Army Boot Camp, and this is of course due to following the YouTuber Angry Cops, is that shark attacks no longer happen in basic training. Instead, you guys go through something called the first 100 yards, correct?
I was not aware that it was called the first 100 yards, but I would say a version of shark attack happened, but that was like in the middle of basic training.
Oh, okay.
I'm gonna say a version because it wasn't technically it, but in my books personally, it was a shark attack just because of what was going on.
Okay, I gotcha.
But yeah. Basically, the first 100 yards, in case some of y'all don't know, that basically was I get on the bus. They tell me to put my face in a bag. And when we got to my actual company, we were told to run with our bags. Some people had to carry MRE boxes. And we just were like being told, hurry up, hurry up, hurry up. And then after that, we grabbed all of our stuff, got our brief from our first sergeant, and then I had to run all the way to our company, which that was terrible.
Okay.
Just because, like I said before, I really didn't do a lot of exercise in the beginning. So I was naturally going to be the slowest guy.
Yeah.
So you can imagine and what would have happened if I was the slowest guy.
Right. And by the way, welcome to Cash Money.
Hey, Cash.
What's up,
I just
guys?
looked over and he was in here.
Yep.
Yeah.
Then after that, it was just more so. After that, it was just more so just learning. You must stand at parade rest while talking to an NCO.
Which for the record, an NCO is anyone that isn't an officer but is pretty much E4 and up, correct?
E5.
Not quite. E5.
E5.
E5
E5.
is like a regular sergeant with the
And
3 mosquito wings.
yeah, non-commissioner officer, NCO.
Right.
They're
We call them petty officers.
Yeah.
I just
And so-
already seen some differences from my experience. I just can tell you. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, of course, everything was rushed for the first 72 hours,
Hmm.
where we had like shower drills where everyone, like, I don't know, 20 some guys had to take showers like maybe 3 minutes each person.
Yeah.
And we had
remember
like
that.
maybe 10 or so working showers.
Is there privacy there, Michael, or
So
no?
Mm-mm.
Oh,
So there was some, depending on where it was. There wasn't privacy in the latrines, but there was privacy in the bays where we weren't allowed to change in there.
I'd
But
hope
in
so.
latrine.
I remember
Jeez.
my experience was no, it was no privacy.
Yeah,
Everybody was
same.
equal. Everybody was equal.
yeah, that's kind of how it was for us too.
Yeah.
Man.
But
No.
Did
we
you feel
could-
real awkward about it then, Michael, or did you just suck it up and say, "Well, just don't look down, right?" Don't
well,
look
I
to the
mean, it
side.
was like slightly awkward because
Yeah.
how is it not? But at
Right.
the same time,
Hmm.
I just thought,
You
May as
develop
well
like a
deal with it.
respect. If you develop a
Mhm.
respect, you know what I mean. Like after a
Mhm.
while, you don't. You it's automatically you just look at their faces of people. You don't
Right.
do
Right.
anything else. You know, it's like
yeah,
Mhm.
that's what you
Right.
do.
Yeah. That makes
yeah,
sense. Oof.
It's like you need to. They have a saying. You need to. What is it, like suck it up and drive on. That was
Yeah, I get
Yeah.
it.
that's what they told us. Suck it up and drive on. You know,
Yeah.
keep going.
Mhm.
Or alternatively, embrace the suck.
yes, exactly.
Uh-huh.
That's kind of what I was thinking. So, at the time, I was actually placed in 4th Platoon for Alpha Company 213th. So, we were dubbed as the best platoon. So already things were just really tense. And here's another thing too. When you know how you get your linens and your blankets and all that good stuff,
Mm-hmm.
pretty much I got my blanket too short from the beginning.
Oh,
No.
that's not
And-
good.
Yeah. And it had stayed like that through the entirety of basic training. But I just learned to deal with it because I brought it up several times, never got it fixed.
Yeah, that's kind of how it is. You get what you get.
Yeah. And I'm only saying that because when they were telling us like how to make our beds, I couldn't do that with my blanket, at least in the way that they wanted me to.
Right.
Where in order for me to actually do the hospital corners correctly, I had to place my blanket horizontally instead of vertically.
Okay. Yeah, I remember when we did our making beds in Navy boot camp, they had a specific way that we did that also. I don't remember all of the details, but I do remember the sheets you had to make like the 90-degree angle, the 45-degree angle corners. The folds.
That's a hospital corner.
Yeah.
Yep.
You didn't have any drill sergeant with a quarter coming by to the center of like he just throw the quarter to see if it bounced back. If it doesn't bounce back, he took out hold the linen, throw it to the floor with the whole bed.
No, we did not have that.
Okay.
But we did have some of them say that it was like too tight or something, or if it was completely screwed up in like any way, then your bed was tossed by the time that you got back.
It gets tossed, and then everybody pays too. Because it's a reflection of the whole platoon. If one
If
Yeah.
one is messed up, then everyone's messed up.
Everybody's messed
Yeah.
up. No matter if everybody else was doing good.
Yeah.
It's the fault of everybody because nobody taught the other guy how to
Yeah.
do it. So
Yep.
it's
Yeah.
your fault.
And
Yeah,
real
man, it's a
quick,
different rule.
Pacific 414 says hello and welcome back, Michael.
Yep. Hello.
Cobra
Yeah,
Disney
a few
Jedi. Back to what you were saying, Michael, about the bathrooms. He says, I can't remember what movie it was, but you got 15 minutes to shower, shave, and
Yeah.
you know what that emoji is.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I never made my platoon pay for it. It's when it came to beds, but I do think I did one time when I left my shaving stuff in my personal bag. So like I had no way to shave Eve at the time, except with an electric razor that one of my battle buddies gave me. And after that, it was pretty much game over. Where I think while my buddies were getting smoked, I was upstairs shaving.
Yeah, because that's the treatment. When somebody makes a mistake, the other ones pay until that
Yeah.
person rectifies the mistake, so the other ones remember later on.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
Yep.
Yeah.
So was
Yeah.
it all like, hey, you were the one who didn't shave that one time?
I mean, it wasn't like that because people would get in trouble for various things, like not shaving. Happens all the time.
Some
But
some people don't shower.
yeah, that's another thing too.
That's another thing
Did
too.
you have any people in your platoon, battalion, whatever, that was infamous for that sort of thing?
I would say no, at least not that I can remember offhand.
Because I remember Dad, because he briefly tried to go into the National Guard, but ended up getting medically separated in basic. But he was talking about how back in his day, because he went in the early 90s when it was much tougher, which I'm sure is what you did also, Felix.
Yeah,
and
95.
95, yes. He remembers how there was a guy in his battalion or platoon, whatever, that didn't shower, to the point that the drill sergeant and everyone else in his battalion pretty much threw him into the shower and like scrubbed him down with, I think, steel wool.
Wow. Now that is paying for it.
Yeah,
it's brutal. Like, it's like the system. If you don't click with the system, it's the worst. It's better you to get out. Well, in those years, it was better to you just get out, get medical discharge or something else. Don't stay because it's just gonna affect everybody else. Everybody's will pay.
Yeah.
And real quick, hello to JetSparks373. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, another thing too is that I don't know, it was a bit harder to make friends because like you got thrown into basic training and either you make friends like that or everyone just automatically hates you for some reason, which
interesting.
Or at least that's kind of how it went for me.
Okay.
I remember that.
Because there was like one guy that he and I more or less instantly hit it off, but he was also one of the guys that was like, "Oh, I regret ever wanting to go. I just want to leave. I feel like that this decision is just not for me."
Yeah.
And then there was also a guy where he and I just could not get along whatsoever, even though he did everything well by the book. He was also kind of two-faced.
I see. And real quick, hello to Glenn Schroeder, and he says notifications are off. Was anyone else having? Whoa, we just lost John.
Yeah, I don't know.
Oh, he's back. John, everything okay?
Wi-Fi went out.
Okay.
Nice.
Glenn Schroeder says notifications are off. Is anyone else in the chat or here in the panel, did anyone else have problems with their notifications, or was it just Glenn?
No,
I got yours.
See if I got a notification.
I was not tracking that.
Okay.
The Star Wars guys uploaded 2 new videos.
Yep.
Okay.
This video
Alright, then
may be
everything's good.
inappropriate.
Question, Mike. Did anybody in basic training attempted to do candy contraband?
Well,
Yeah,
there was a few
Oh my
times
gosh.
where
yeah,
we got smoked for contraband.
yeah, yes.
But
Oh man,
there was
that's
only
so bad. I don't know
one
why people.
time. There was only one time where contraband was mentioned, and that they claimed that they knew who it was and knew what it was, but they still asked for somebody to come forward with it. And
Yeah,
then the
because
other time that we got smoked, it was actually a peanut butter packet from
yes,
the
yes.
DFAC.
Wow.
You know what? I remember that the drill sergeant. There was one night, and then the
Mhm.
drill sergeant came with a broom. You know that the ceilings are like these things that you can take off and put stuff there. People were
Yeah.
putting stuff on the ceiling, and the drill sergeant is going boom, 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 and then suddenly one of those ceiling panels,
Yeah.
man, I'm talking about sneakers, Skittles. I don't know how the people got all the. It's amazing the stuff that will appear there. And
Yeah.
man, it was the worst 48 hours. I still remember it was 48 hours of hell. 48. It was
Wow.
2 hours of sleeping, 2 hours PT, 2 hours of sleeping, 2 hours PT until like to see somebody break down to see who was gonna like.
Oh,
So
yeah.
it was bad. It was bad. It was bad.
I almost want to say I bet that those were planted there by the drill sergeants themselves.
Probably.
But at the
Yeah.
same time,
Man,
I
that'd
don't
be
know.
messed up.
Nobody say
yeah.
anything because I think he did it to see somebody kind of just make a lie, and that would have been worse.
Mhm.
That would have been worse because probably they're just saying, "No, it was me." So you're a liar. So and then it keep going. Yeah. Nobody say anything. So I think it was the
Uh-huh.
drill sergeant. Yeah.
Yeah.
Michael, what were the eating situation like? One thing when I got out of high school a
Mhm.
long time ago, I thought about going into the military, but then I'm like, I don't think I can eat whenever I want to. That's going to be a problem for me. If I feel like eating, I get hungry, I eat at weird times or whatever. Is there like a refrigerator or something? You just, it'd be like, hey, let me
Yeah.
get some food, or do you have to
Yeah,
eat at
that's
certain
like
hours
a
and that's it?
No.
that's like a
Man.
complete no-go right there.
No
Oh,
go.
it
Where
stinks.
they at basic, the breakfast chow was like at 7 o'clock, and at first it was like a hot meal brought to the company where it was, I don't know what it was called for you, Felix. For us, it was called hot A's,
How it is.
and then maybe an MRE during lunch, and then more hot A's for dinner.
Oh.
And this was like for maybe the first maybe week or so.
Hmm.
And then
No,
after that,
Mhm.
we started going to the DFAC, where that's where really all the chaos started, because pretty much any reason that the drill sergeant would have to yell at us, they would either find it or they would just make one up. Because there was like one time where we were told not to block a certain pillar by my former senior drill sergeant, and it was all because of it having Germix on it, and no one else made a comment about the pillar except her, and her voice, who reminds me of Juwa, would just be like, "Don't block my pillar! Don't block my pillar!"
Wow.
Wow.
I have another question. Did you?
Yes.
Did they give you a pill?
A pill?
Wait, like yeah. At the beginning of everything.
I don't remember. Maybe they did or not. But I do know
Like
that
when you went. Yeah.
I do know that they gave me some shots though for vaccinations.
Okay.
Sure.
But I think I know where you're going with this.
Yes. Right. Yeah.
I'm clueless.
Yeah.
So-
They do. Yeah.
There
Is
may
it
or
for
may not
sleeping or is it for
No.
eating?
sterilization.
Oh boy.
Let's just
Anti-Viagra?
yes.
Yeah. Like.
Oh, okay.
It's because they know, guys.
John, don't ask what that is.
I'm gonna keep it. I'm gonna keep
My
it
earbud
PG.
fell out.
I'm gonna keep it
Within
PG
here. Yeah.
in here because this channel is PG. But
Yes.
Right.
yeah, but what I think what happens is that especially for guys because the girls didn't got it. So it was to calm the hormones.
Oh
Uh-huh.
man.
Yeah.
And I can
Because
tell you with 100% certainty, the Navy does not issue that.
I would hope not. Man, that's
but
brutal.
I remember because it was like because what happens also when I got in was the first time that guys and girls were not in the same rooms but in the same companies, right? So I'm pretty sure they did some adjustments, and I was like, why we're getting this thing? I was asking other people, but it was something that I remember that was very unique, and I never nobody ever explained it to me, but I figured it out after the years because it's like, yeah, it makes completely sense. Yeah, what they were doing. Yeah, I don't. So then I don't think that. But when you went to the Navy, Paul, which year?
2014.
Okay, so it could be that it's different.
Yeah.
It could be that it's different, but I remember that.
Wow. Felix was like, "No, you can't do this to me." I'm sure Michael felt the same way. It's like, this is not right.
But I think it's a temporary thing. It's just like it's especially it's for those 2 months.
Yeah, I have like no idea because I heard about it, but it was
you heard
never
about it? Okay.
outright confirmed.
You don't remember? Like
No, if anything, if it was there, I think it was in the shots that we took.
Because it's really fast. It happens really fast. You know that there's so many stuff happening at the same time. It's just that you are in the line and they just give this to everybody. Boom, 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 and then you keep going.
Yeah.
So
like
they never tell you
reception
what
for
it is.
me lasted maybe like 3 days at most, when it was
doing
supposed
so
to
much.
last like a week.
Wow. Yeah.
How did that happen?
I don't know. I think it's just because of the fact that, for one thing, we're in COVID years at this time, and also we kind of needed people because of Ukraine.
Yep.
But yeah, the reception of itself is a story too, where I think on our second night that we were there, we had missed our hit time of lights out by like 1 minute, and the drill sergeant was like, "Y'all have 5 seconds to turn out those lights before I take everyone out for formation."
Dang.
And
and
I don't think he was allowed to smoke us except for maybe just making us stand around in the cold because it was in January.
Jeez. Did you was the food actually good, Michael? Like, would you recommend if somebody's like, "Hey, I want to go into the military?" It's like, well, is that like a perk kind of? You guys get actually good food?
Well, it's definitely better food than what you see on TV. But
hey, it's better than
it's
my
also
school food.
But it's also somewhat of an acquired taste where you have to get used to eating things like MREs that were cold for like the first couple of weeks because we weren't allowed to heat them up. Also, yeah. Also, the eggs were definitely something to get used to because they weren't real eggs; they were powdered eggs.
Oh boy, were they at least somewhat tasty?
Yeah, but you kind of had to figure your way out. Where usually I just put salt and pepper on mine.
Good, smart.
I remember that for me, I needed to eat food, whatever it was, because it's just that you need the energy. For me, it was not more. It was for me. It was not just for eating. It's just like if I don't eat, they're gonna smoke me. They're gonna smoke me. So I need a fuel. So everything that you can eat on time, you should eat it because they're gonna test you. You know that you're gonna just burn them all.
Yeah, because that's really what I did at basic training. Where I don't know what they have for you, John, but they have like different labels for different health foods. Where green was like the best, yellow was like okay, but then red was like bad. And I just stuck with as much green stuff as I could at basic.
I remember that.
Oh.
Real quick, crits. Good lord. They're hashtags, not the tag things, but
Talk about
hashtag Justice for Star Trek 5. Hashtag
Justice for
Star Trek
Johnny.
5. Yes, justice for Johnny.
Oh
for real.
boy. Yeah. Yes.
Hashtag Phil loves Picard and Red Sonja. Hashtag Paul does not love Yub Nub.
And I do
for
not
real.
love Star Trek 5.
Yes, he does.
Hashtag
He's in denial.
welcome
Mhm.
back, Michael. I'm gonna play a different one for Star Trek 5 this time.
I know this ship like the back of my hand.
You know, that guy could be a rapper because he does have some serious bars.
Yeah. All right. So
John.
What? 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 What?
He went for it.
yeah. So kind of getting back on track. So let's see. Well, definitely when we were doing PT, my former senior drill sergeant actually did show me something about my push-ups, because I only thought of push-ups as like an arm thing, not like a whole body thing, where she was like, hey, you should tighten up your core. And I'm like, what are you talking about? How do you do that? And like for like half of basic training, I had to figure that out, where I wasn't really sure like what to do at the time. So it was like me asking people in my platoon, like, hey, how do you do this? How do you do that? Just because this is some of the stuff I've never really had to think about. And now I have to think about it because it's literally my job to. But
Yeah. And speaking of that, if you now know what that means to tighten up your core, you're gonna have to show me that.
yeah.
Do your
It's
kicks like also an exercise that helps. If you do your flutter kicks,
Oh,
that builds your core. Yeah, and if you want to go easy, do your sit-ups. You know, like not sit-ups. I mean crunches. Do a lot of crunches because it's low impact, and that helps your core, and then it helps you with your push-ups, right? Because
yeah.
it's
Yeah.
all in the core.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And so, yeah, thank you, Felix.
I need
We'll
to
definitely look into that.
We need to do it. I do it because I still need to do it for the Jedi. In the Jedi, we need the actual the Grandmaster tells no 5 push-ups when somebody's not there. He just goes like that and like, oh, these kids are getting it. Yeah.
Yeah. And so kind of getting back on track, I forget how this was like I forget really how this happened, but I think that eventually people started getting moved into different platoons where I ended up getting moved to 1st platoon because I think I just didn't make the cut for 4th platoon, which is honestly fine with me. Still got trained, still graduated. So some of my friends from 4th platoon kind of came with me while I met some new friends. And
So
yeah.
I have a question.
Mhm.
When you moved platoons, does that also mean you got different drill sergeants?
Yes. And admittedly, I think that these drill sergeants, I won't say were better, but they were different. They were definitely what I needed. Where
What does that mean?
Where I think that when it came to 4th platoon, I definitely like learned like the intensity the part of it, but like with 1st platoon, I think I was able to just thrive there just because of the atmosphere that it had, because it wasn't as maybe high intensity but more knowledge based if I had to compare it to anything.
Yeah. Real quick, I gotta say hello to Moss Pierce. I'll let you guess, Michael, who this is.
Nate?
No. Look at the last name.
I know.
Charlie, if you can, please join us.
Yep, get in here.
The link is in the pinned comment at the top of the chat. He says, give me a second.
Yeah. So anyways, that actually brings me to this, where PJ has actually asked me beforehand to kind of show a slideshow that I got from basic training. If that is cool that I can share that.
Yeah.
Go for it, man. That sounds awesome.
So there is going to be there is like some music in it too, by the way. if you wanted me to share it with the audio, or if you just want me to kind of pause and walk you through it.
Yeah, do that. Pause and walk us through it. I think that'll having more insight into what's going on, I think, would help.
Okay,
I gotta
so
go because I gotta hit the bed soon, and I still gotta put away this laundry.
All right. Well,
Okay.
thank you for joining us, John, and I will see you very soon.
See ya. Okay, so just want to make this clear. The intellectual property does not belong to me. This is only used for educational purposes and all that good stuff. So without further ado, this kind of begins where things starts becoming a little bit good in the basic training.
What do you
So-
mean by a little bit good? Like they're not quite as hard on you?
Not quite. Here, I'll pause it real quick. It's actually where we get to do fun stuff. Where fun as in like stuff that actually is training. So for any of you who didn't know, I was trained in Fort Jackson in North Carolina.
South?
Whoa.
I was South Carolina. And then the brigade I was part of was 193rd, and I was part of 2nd Battalion, 3rd Infantry Regiment, which is actually where I have this, if you can see it.
Mm-hmm.
And I was part of Alpha Company from that. And this is how long it took me to get through basic. And so to kind of start us off, I'll just kind of fast forward it. This is actually where we get started off. So the pictures that you're seeing here, this is actually taken at Victory Tower, where behind these people here is actually our mini wall, where it was like maybe a 45 some degree angle wall that we had to rappel down. And then
45 degrees doesn't seem like it would be that hard to repel, does it?
No, I'm also making somewhat of a guess. And keep in mind that this was also in January still, so it was pretty icy and cold.
Mm-hmm.
So, in case some of you can't see here, because we were dealing with like ropes here, we actually had to tuck in our belts into our blouses. Normally, they wouldn't have us do this. And also, our name tapes and patches are gone too, just so that we don't get them caught on anything, except for like our name tape right here.
Mm-hmm. And you guys are still wearing masks because masks, pretty much as a rule, hadn't been lifted yet.
Yes.
And real quick, hello to Charlie. What's up, man?
Oh, hey,
Not much.
Charlie.
Hey, Michael.
How's it going?
Pretty good.
So if I may pause real quick, I am going to plug. I did this already on the gaming stream, but I am going to really quick plug an upcoming project, another series that's coming to the channel, Thursday Who. That's going to be me and Charlie, and we are going to be going through all of Doctor Who. Now, he's not going to be able to do it at first because he's moving back to England, but once he does and gets settled, it'll be just like Tuesday Night Trek and Animation Friday.
Mm-hmm.
So go ahead and continue, Mike.
All right, so just some more pictures of us wearing our camelbacks. We're just
about where are you in all of this?
So admittedly, I actually haven't really proofread this, so this is my first time kind of seeing all of this too. And so if you see me, feel free to point me out or stop me.
Yeah, I'm looking and I don't see you yet.
Yeah, it's a bit hard to tell because of so many masks, so many ACHs.
ACH, that's the helmet, right?
Yeah. Oh, here I am. There's me.
Okay.
You can tell.
Wow, you have your mask on high. Like, it's literally like up here.
Yeah. I could tell that it's me because of all the razor bumps I had.
Right. Because you
Which
have to
that in of
shave
itself is
every day.
Yeah, which that in of itself is a story for later.
Yep. Hello, by the way, I waved to him earlier. Hello to Green Lantern, and hello to Thrawn. Thanks for joining us, man.
Yep.
Hey, Thrawn, Green Lantern.
Hi, Thrawn.
Hey, Tron.
Oh, this guy right here in front,
Mhm.
he's important for later. He's one of my battle buddies that actually followed me to AIT. So
gotcha.
his name is Folkert. Not gonna dox him or anything, but just remember him for later.
I have a quick question.
Yeah.
There are some people there with hair. I thought when you go into basic training, they shave your head,
Yeah.
or did they stop that?
No, they still have that. Just the females can keep their hair. And also, I can't tell if we had only recently got a haircut that day, or if we got a haircut previously and just didn't get a new one.
Yeah, how often did you get haircuts in boot camp? Because I got it 3 times when I was in.
I got it every other week.
Okay.
All right. So I'm going to pause here. So right now what we're doing is that we're getting our harnesses on to prepare for our rappelling course, just because we don't want anybody slipping off and passing away and all that good stuff. And here's one of the cadre that was doing that. And whenever we weren't doing any of the rappelling, we did this. We did these rope courses where one of my battles seems to be walking up a 3 rope bridge.
Real quick, hello to the legendary Tron. Yep. What's up, man?
Yep.
Hey, Tron.
Hey, Tron. What's up, man?
Tron, everyone, by the way, is still talking about you
Yeah.
from the convention. Just want to let you know. It was amazing to meet you.
Yeah, Tron. I really wish I was there, my guy, but maybe next year. But it was good to see you on screen. Okay, so here's another picture of the mini wall that we were doing. And here's actually the technique of which we have to rappel down, where our right hand, or whatever dominant hand you have, is actually the hand that controls the amount of slack that you have on the rope and what lets you down, while your left hand or right hand, whatever hand you're not using, is like your guide hand to make sure that you're in control.
Cobra Disney Jedi says looks like he's doing the Karate Kid crane technique.
Yeah, it kind of does.
Yeah. And by the way, hello to Tim, Coffee on Korriban.
Yep. And here's just some more pictures of that going on.
And by the way, the legendary Tron says, welcome back, Michael.
Yeah, thank you, Tron. And I'll actually kind of go back here and actually show you this. So in order to ensure that we had control over our ropes, they had us do this, where we had our right hand in the small of our back, depending on what dominant hand we had, and then wave with our guide hand just to make sure that we had control. And that's why there's a picture of this person here doing it.
And I take it if you didn't have control, if you let go to wave, you fall backwards.
Pretty much. So yeah, we just have some people in the bottom going down. Some more pictures of all that going on. Yeah. And then it's just pretty much going on until a certain group is done with the mini wall, while at the same time they do the main event, which is Vic Tower itself, where one of my battle buddies here actually just got done with. So for anyone who does not know, Victory Tower, or Vic Tower, that is actually the 40-foot wall that we would rappel off of, where one of my battles here is doing right now. And all you would have to do is basically just use the same fundamentals as you did with the mini wall, except you would jump off the wall and do that. Now here's actually the rope bridges that we were talking about, where here's actually a 2-rope bridge, which is kind of self-explanatory of how you go across that, where I don't know if they had you do this, PJ or Felix,
No,
but whenever
we did not do any obstacle courses like this at all.
Yeah.
I did that, yeah.
Did they have you sidestep in the DFAC?
Yeah.
Yeah,
no,
basically
they had us do like facing movements.
Oh yeah, they made us kind of do facing movements in the DFAC too. But yeah, basically this is what that's for, so that you could sidestep on this thing.
Mhm.
Now the single rope bridge was actually a bit tougher because it was all about maintaining balance,
Yeah.
where you would have like one dead leg hanging, and then the other one would actually be
The guy, yeah.
the guide. And then the idea of it was that the faster you went, supposedly, the more balance you had. But at the same time, Hema, if you didn't and to do well, or you lost balance and you flipped over, you could potentially go across, but most people just fell if that happened. But I didn't flip over. I stayed like this position here.
Good. Yeah, that honestly, staying upright looks much harder than, say, if you were to climb like
Yeah.
underneath.
Yeah, which admittedly the two rope bridge was the hardest one for some reason. I mean, you wouldn't expect it to happen either.
Of course. Have a good night, Cobra Disney Jedi.
Yep, you too. Go Cobra Disney. So yeah, there's just some more of my battle buddies doing that, and there's some more of my battle buddies going down Victory Tower, and now looks like we're pretty much just done with that. And actually, this looks like that we're getting ready to do the rope course again. And I can't tell for sure, but that kind of looks like me. That last picture.
Can you go back?
Yeah. Give me a sec. Right there. I can't tell for sure, but I feel
That's not
like
you. That's not.
Oh, that's not?
No, I can tell by the eyes.
Oh,
Yeah.
the face mask is pretty high up on his face. It could be.
Yeah.
Question, Mike.
Yes?
Do you did the gas chamber?
Oh, yes.
Okay.
I want to say that's what's after this, but
Okay.
like I said, I haven't looked at this slideshow beforehand, so this is going to be a learning experience for all of us. But it looks like that they took a lot of pictures at Victory Tower. And personally, I can't wait to see pictures while we're at the range. Well, speaking of which, here we are. The gas chamber, after I go back a little bit. So right here.
Oh, I for sure remember this because we had to do it in the Navy also.
Yeah.
But for us it was a little different. So
Yeah.
I'll let you describe it. Here's how it was for me. They
Okay.
had us line up in the gas chamber, had us put our gas masks on, make sure they were sealed properly. Then they started flooding the room with the CS gas, and they would go by rows. So one row at a time would take their mask off, be exposed to the gas, say their name, I think their social and where they're from, and then be escorted out. Is that somewhat how it happened for you?
So not quite like that. They didn't like call us by our name and social. So what happened is that you see here, we're actually getting a demonstration of how to put on our masks. And so I want to say this is me right here. I can't really tell for sure.
That is.
Yeah,
that
that's
is.
me. So this was actually something that really worried me for a bit because they'd said that you have to put on your mask in like 9 seconds or you're dead. And for the most part, me putting on my mask because I couldn't breathe, it made me panic. And so I was a little bit worried about this. But when they actually called us over for the gas chamber, what they did first was that they gave us like a pre-training, like you can say, where we had practice with it. Then we did it for real. Where outside they called gas, 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 which, by the way, this is the hand signal for gas, gas, gas.
Okay.
They made us put it on in like 9 seconds or so. And then after that, they put us in the actual chamber.
With your gas mask is on, right?
Yes.
Okay. Now, I remember you were telling me this story about the gas chamber before. Didn't you have trouble getting yours to seal or clear or something?
Yes. Yes, so that actually leads me to the next part where while this was going on and we were inside the gas chamber, what they had us do is that they made us take off our mask, hold our breath and close our eyes, all the good stuff for like a couple seconds, and hold our mask until a drill sergeant came around and had cleared us officially, just to make sure that we weren't cheating or anything. After that, we were told to like put our face mask back on, reseal it after we cleared it, of course. But what happened is that my mask, for some reason, never like fully sealed, so I got exposed to it anyways, and I was like having a hard time kind of breathing. Oh yeah, there's me looking directly at the camera.
There's you again.
Yep. You may as well appreciate this picture of a bald me because it's the only time you'll probably get to see it.
I do want to make a quick reference to Doctor Who. Are you my mummy?
Yeah. So yeah, here we are, walking out with our masks ready to go, and as I was saying, when I was getting cleared, a drill sergeant had asked me if I was okay because I was having a harder time kind of breathing because my mask didn't seal properly. And I just kind of sucked it out and I said, yes, drill sergeant, even though I was coughing a lot. And he was just like, okay.
And then after that, everyone was escorted out. And I've seen the videos where you go out flapping your arms.
Yes, I did have to do that.
Is there a purpose behind this?
So I think the purpose is that you're not just breathing in the gas. The chemicals itself are going to be on your clothes. So by flapping your arms, I guess it helps get the chemicals off of you or something. I don't know. Felix, do you have any input on that?
I remember doing it, but they never told us that. And I was going to ask you a question about this too.
Yeah.
They told you they were going to take the mask off.
Yeah, they did. Yeah, they did tell us about it.
They didn't tell to me. They told us all the training. They gave us all the training, like as you're saying. How to seal the mask, how to put everything properly. But for me, it was a surprise when I was going into the chamber. They told us you need to take the mask off.
Yeah,
that threw me. By everybody was like, "What?" And then that was the tricky part. So I guess at least they telling now that that's going to happen. It must be that they had a lot of
So there's us coming out, and flapping our arms, after we got exposed to it, and we were not having a good time, like this guy right here.
Yeah. Oh wow. Some people vomit. There's people vomiting and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah. We actually had
either that or like both faucets are turned on inside your nose and you just
yeah.
Oh my god.
That's pretty much what happened with me.
You did that?
To a certain degree.
Yeah. Well, for me,
no, that's not you.
Yeah, I was not saying that was me. I was saying, well, we actually had a guy that ran out of the gas chamber because he panicked.
We had someone like that too in the Navy.
Yeah, where he like took off from the entrance door. But other than that, everyone did pretty well.
Now, I do want to ask you about something that I'm noticing in a lot of these pictures. Not related. I have noticed like that there look to be some bigger guys in your battalion.
Yes.
Do you know whether did they get singled out more than anyone else because of their size by the drill sergeants? Like that guy right there to the left.
Him.
Yeah, him.
I would say not to the extent of how Gunnery Sergeant Hartman did with Gomer Pyle, but in a way that was almost like a joke.
Because I remember there was a few in my class, one specifically, and I remember in RDC, because that's what we called our drill sergeants, and RDC literally looked at him and said, "I don't want to see you eating any cookies, ice cream, that sort of thing."
Yeah, we did not have that because I think it violated equal opportunity or something. But I think it was more so a joke because I heard that this guy in particular actually did talk about joining the army to lose weight, and it became like an inside joke within his platoon. But that's all I know about that.
Well, if that's true, hopefully he succeeded.
I have a quick question. Tell us about the Gomer Pyle.
The Gomer Pyle?
Did you have any that was Private Pyle from Full Metal? Any people in your place like that?
So we didn't have anybody that was called Gomer Pyle, but we did have some people that were like that. Admittedly, I kind of was in the beginning, but I guess who wasn't?
Yeah, because in the beginning, they're literally looking for anything and everything to hem you up with.
Yeah. Well, actually, now that you mention it, there actually was somebody that I would consider Gomer Pyle, but she's not here in the picture right now, but I'll just mention her in third person, where she was in 3rd platoon, and let's just put it this way, whenever we did our field exercises, she may or may not have tried to eat more than one MRE for chow.
I can imagine that didn't go very well.
Yeah. And here's the thing. She would openly lie up to her battle buddies about it and be like, hey, I didn't get an MRE. Can I get one? And sooner or later, of course, someone would call her out.
Yeah, how did the drill sergeants react is all I'm worried about.
Oh, I don't even know. Because
I'm sure they heard about it.
No, but I do know that she fell out of every single ruck march that we had. And she was definitely called out on it. But that's another story for later. Oh, there
you are.
So yeah.
Oh, that is a perfect picture.
10 out of 10 face right there.
Yeah, that was not a good day for me just because I don't even remember if I don't remember having allergies that day or not. But I do know that breathing in that gas, it was not good.
That face just says, everything on my face hurts right now, but I can't do anything about it.
Yeah.
You look real happy there.
Like, that is an instant replay worthy thing. Oh, look, the Crutches Squad. That was a joke, by the way. And that's also something that they called people who were on profile. Crutches Squad. Or something like that. So, yeah. Man, there's a lot of pictures here of Seaburn. I want to actually move on.
And those pouches on your hip, that's what you kept your gas masks in, right?
Yes. And here's one thing that you need to know. So you know how, like, when you get your mask, you have, like, the little back part that attaches to your head, like, right here?
Mm-hmm.
Well, specifically what you would have to do is that while holding, like, the pouch, the back part of the mask, like, the eyes had to be here, and the filters had to be up front here.
Yeah.
So that whenever you do pull out your mask, you can pretty much pull it out like this, pull on your mask down, tighten it up, breathe out so that you can clear it by pushing on the muzzle, and then breathe in by pushing on the filters. And all of it would be prepared just because in a Seaburn attack in real life, you don't have time to make sure that you got your double knot correct, if you know what I'm saying.
Right. You basically have to pre-stage everything. I remember that from... Now, Do you still have that gas mask?
I do not, because it's a serialized item and pretty much is like a very sensitive item where if you lose it, for one thing, you have to pay for it.
Mm-hmm.
And
And I'm
then,
sure you pay for it in more than one way.
yes. Phew, this is going to be a long stream if we keep on looking at this.
We don't have to look at every single thing.
Yeah,
If you want to skip around to like the
Yeah.
next section, you can.
yeah. But yeah, this actually is the next section here. Looks like we're at what's called confidence course. Just more obstacles to go over just to build confidence. Let me see if I can get some good pictures of like what it actually entails. So, here we are. So, what we have here is what's called the firewalls, where we have to work together as a team in about teams of 4, where we have 2 guys who can jump really well at the top of the wall. We have 1 person who's climbing up the wall with assistance from both the 4th guy behind her and the 2 people who are already on top of the wall. And we just keep on doing that.
Right.
It's for like maybe 3 times. So yeah, that's kind of the process there. We have the support guy that we already talked about. And we keep on doing this process until everyone's over the wall. As you can kind of see here, he's the last guy.
Right.
And then sometimes they would get a bit too high, so we would have ropes. Oh, and this is another thing that we did. This is actually a different section for Fit to Win, where we had to basically race by platoons through different obstacles. And this was actually a really fun day and probably one of the most important days too for my platoon and for myself. Because for first platoon, you know how I mentioned that we weren't necessarily like the best platoon when it came to PT?
Yeah.
Well, we were pretty much all in dead last while doing this. So we were all somewhat unmotivated. And then 3rd platoon senior drill sergeant had looked at us and said, I don't care if y'all are in last place or not. I want you all to be motivated as if you're in first place. And I want you to build each other up.
Okay.
And that, I kid you not, flipped a switch in all of us. And here's the thing, too. I did not mention this earlier, but 3rd platoon senior drill sergeant had a reputation, if you know what I'm saying.
Can you give a little bit more detail on that?
Basically, she was trigger happy on the smokes.
Oh.
Like, any
It's-
reason that she could find, she
Any
would use that reason to smoke you.
Okay, I got it now.
Yeah. And so here's another obstacle that we have to go over, pretty much just balancing act while we have different safeties around. And you have to go over it as fast as you can. And then after everything's said and done, over here actually was where we had the talk with 3rd platoon senior drill sergeant at that little rope thing in the background. That's where we had it. And then we had to go through these tubes. We had to high crawl through some dirt. And then you saw that we had to kind of crawl on our backs in dirt.
Yep.
And then we had to do this number here over. And then here, let me actually go back a little bit because I want to point out another one of my battle buddies. Let's see. Not yet.
By the way, good night to Phil McCracken. He had to call it a night, and he says hashtag welcome back, Michael. Indeed.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Here's my senior drill sergeant, by the way. And he can really run for one thing, and he can really get over obstacles.
Awesome.
Yep. And then let's see. Here is my Bay leader. Oh, and here's actually one of my battle buddies that I wanted to point out. His name was Jones. He was also a 56 mic like myself. So it was a good idea automatically. Yeah, here he is right there in the background. It's a good idea to kind of talk to him just because he was going to the same AIT as I was. Admittedly, I was having trouble with these just because I'm not as like nimble or spry as other people. But at this point, I was a little bit better at PT. Still not the greatest, but I'm doing a little better. And then pretty much this obstacle was self-explanatory. Climb up the ropes, then go over the building and climb down.
Real quick, Charlie, he has to leave also. Charlie, is there anything you want to say before you head out?
Yeah.
Just it's great seeing you again, Michael. Hope you have a great, day and all that.
Yeah.
See you around some other time.
Yep. See ya.
Have a
See
good
you,
night.
Charlie.
See ya.
Yep. See you, Charlie. And so, yeah, kind of continuing on. Let's see. Yeah, this was like a really good day for us. I'll just kind of glide through these things because there's a lot of pictures here.
I have another question, but I'm gonna see if you get there.
Yeah? What's your question?
You did the live round night session?
Oh, Nick at Night. Yes, we did.
Okay.
But they were shooting at us from like maybe with the rounds flying like maybe 50 meters above our heads, but they still told us like don't get up.
You don't get up.
Yeah. So yeah, they told us to like high crawl in that dirt, and I guess just to prepare us. There we are, just running and like crazy.
Wow. And real quick, hello to Apollome's Minion. Thanks for joining. And again, that is a cute dog in your picture.
Yeah. Yeah, this was just like a really good day. We were laughing, cracking jokes, even.
There's you in the back.
Just having a good time. Yeah, there was one of my buddies there, kind of struggling. And so I had to motivate him. And here's actually one of the best days ever.
Live
we
fire?
Actually, well, just rifle quals. So we actually had to put on our wet weather gear because it had previously rained, or it was raining that day. So we still had to
go back a couple pictures, because I saw something interesting where this one dude was that. Okay, so it looks like y'all are shooting from behind a wall, but at different levels. So what's that?
So what you're seeing here is what's called the kneeling supported position in particular. But it looks like that this person's doing it wrong, where it's supposed to be his or her right leg on the up and then the left leg down, where his knee is supposed to be supported by his knee. Where his elbow is supposed to be supported by his knee. And then the same thing would happen where they would go up another level and do it standing. But yeah, that's really what it's all about. There's like the standing unsupported, the prone unsupported, the prone supported.
Yeah, that picture right there.
Yeah, there's the standing supported.
And by the way, hello to DJ Ronnie G. Thanks for joining.
What's up, DJ?
Do you got the chance to do the M60? They give you the chance to feel the power for a little bit, or?
We actually never got to shoot M16s. We were only able to shoot M4s.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. There's a lot of stuff that we could have done that I wish that we did, but we didn't really get to it. Like, I wish that we got to shoot the saw.
I remember they put the M60. It was against the Jeep, like an old Jeep, and then you were able to just get there for like 30 seconds of, machine gun action.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we never got to do that. In fact, they only told us to fire in semi because I guess they had some incidents when they fired in an auto. So yeah, this is really what all this looks like, where they're
Hmm.
now in the prone unsupported, while some people are waiting.
And your
And
hold and
then
in your mags, you loaded those yourself, right?
yes, so we were given a total of. Okay, so here's a picture of me and one of the battle buddies from second platoon. So right now I'm holding 10 rounds in each mag, and I have total 4 mags, so that's 40 rounds. And
That's
so
your slogan, by the
yeah,
way.
but that's not really what that means. Don't ask me what it means, because I don't know. So anyways, the idea of it is that there's 40 targets, 40 bullets, and you can pretty much add up what the rest means.
Of course.
Yeah. But this was like a really good day despite it being so wet out, just because we got to shoot.
Did anyone do anything stupid on the range, like flag the range?
Every now and then we'd have somebody that wouldn't point their rifle down range, which that honestly happened all the time. Could have been worse, could have been better, you know?
Mm-hmm. But even still, so for those that don't know, flagging the range means you're pointing your rifle, whether intentional or not, directly at someone, and that is a big deal.
Yeah. But yeah, we didn't have anything that extreme. But up next, after we did iron sights, we actually got a massive upgrade to our M4s, where in the next couple of slides, we actually get our CCOs, or close combat optics, which is just red dot sights, nothing special about them. Or then they're like 100 times better than iron sights.
Mm-hmm.
So right now what we're doing is that we're zeroing them, kind of like how we did with iron sights, but it was a whole lot easier.
Now, real quick, just like with the gas mask, you did not get to keep this rifle, did you?
No, we had to put it in the storage room that was like, I don't know, 50 meters away from us.
Right. DJ Ronnie G says, yeah, pointing anywhere but downrange is totally against the rules at any range I've been to. Oh yes.
Yeah.
Safety is paramount when it comes to guns.
Yeah. Yeah, and it looks like they're getting ready to send us off to go police call the range for any brass, because they really love to collect brass and get accountability for how much they shot. Can't say I blame them, but you know,
I
it's a
wonder if
lot of
they
work.
reload them too.
I think they do, just because I think just having specific rounds that were necessary. Yeah. So yeah, there's just some more pictures of us zeroing our CCOs, and this was like literally the best day of our lives, or at least for me, just because you're literally getting paid to shoot at a target and fine-tuning your weapon. And then there's actually some of our battle buddies looking at how we did, because it became almost like a competition in a way, just to see how well someone did. And then for me personally, when we did CCOs, it was really weird, because for me, my shots were inconsistent because of my breathing and trigger squeeze. And that's pretty much the end of the slideshow.
Okay. And then the rest of it, like we already talked about in boot camp, at Fort Jackson when we did that stream. Mm-hmm. You did all your FTXs, and you had the big one. It's not called the Crucible. That's the Marines. What's the one that you had it called? Your final one? The Forge. Yes.
Yeah, which is actually when we did the live tracer rounds and having to high crawl it across 100 meters or so, 100 yards maybe.
Nice.
I mean, the option was also low crawling, but I was not about to low crawl.
Of course. And then of course you graduated, and Mom and Dad and John and I came down to see you, and we did
Yeah.
that stream, which I think was one of the best streams that we had done, considering the fact that it was on our phone and it was in a noisy environment. But then you
Yes.
spent the next several weeks at AIT.
Yes.
So how was that?
It was honestly pretty well. It was definitely a lot better. And then we actually there's actually quite a few pictures here that I kind of want to show you too, just to give
Okay.
just to show what we did. So I actually ended up staying at Fort Jackson after basic, where I went to the United States Army Institute for Religious Leadership
Right.
because I'm a 56 Mike
Mhm.
or a religious
By the way,
affairs
hello to
specialist.
Mattuine. Thanks for joining.
Mattuine, what's up, man? Yo.
And so here's pretty much what we did for the first part, where these pictures here that I'm showing you, these are actually at a ACFT Olympic Challenge, where this is actually the first one that we ever had, where
And the
it was
ACFT, real quick, for those that don't know, is basically your PT test, correct?
yes. And
That is a
so
cool looking sword.
yeah, that's actually the trophy. So what you're seeing here is basically we have different events from the ACFT being put together for like a competition. And it was us students, the 56 mics, against these guys who are from Chibolic, or they're the chaplain candidates. And there's like maybe there's like 3 or 4 platoons of them. And also
So it was enlisted versus officers.
yes, but not just that, but also cadre, which did include enlisted instructors and officers. And the students, of course. But as you probably
Okay.
saw here, it was actually us, AIT, who won. And here's our student
Nice.
first sergeant at the time holding our trophy, the sword. It was actually still up in our barracks to this day, I believe. And it was literally like the greatest feeling ever, just because a bunch of students who have only been doing PT for like, I don't know how long, up against people in the Army who have been doing this for a few years, we beat them.
Right. And so in AIT you still had to deal with drill sergeants, but different drill sergeants, right?
Yes.
So
And
how
still,
were your AIT drill sergeants different than your boot camp or basic drill sergeants?
so one thing that we could do is that we could give them the basic greeting of the day, where we could say like good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever. We could also say thank you to them, which that was actually a big thing in basic. Like whatever you do, do not thank them. And unless they
Why?
give you, I don't know. Don't ask me.
Really?
Okay.
Yeah,
I don't
like I
remember
got in
that.
trouble for it at least twice.
Oh,
And
wow.
this was at the beginning of basic training.
Okay.
And of course, the standards were still the same, shave every day, all that good stuff. And
Mm-hmm.
if need be, we'd get smoked, but it wasn't nearly as bad as basic.
Okay.
Now, I
Now,
don't know.
I do have another question. And this is actually something that I noticed when I went to Fort Jackson to see you right after you graduated basic. Certain
Mhm.
drill sergeants, because they have their cover, the smoky, and the gold
Yes.
emblem right here. Some had like a blue circle behind that, and then some didn't. What does that
All
mean?
right. Well, I heard 2 things about it, where I think it either means that they were infantry or that they are Emotional support drill sergeants.
Hmm.
But I'm actually going to look it up right now just so I know I'm not wrong.
Okay.
So, let's see.
While you do that, I'm going to try and pull someone else in here.
Yeah, go ahead and do that. And while we're all waiting, let me know if anyone has any questions about pretty much anything in basic training.
Yeah, one thing I can tell you is different that I noticed from your conversation is that I think the drill sergeants, at least on when you went there, they're more. There's more awareness of the kind of like the emotional aspects of the soldier than what
Yeah,
I
they
remember.
definitely.
That I remember. I don't remember saying thank you. They were not like, they were really dry. You know what I mean? Like less emotion. You know what I mean? I don't know. That's kind of like what it sounds. There was, and also that there are different platoons. That's something new to me. Unless I don't remember because it was a while ago, but I remember once you're in platoon, you're in that platoon all the time.
Yep.
Mhm.
And hello to Lord Crit. What's up?
Hey, Crit.
I had a
Hello.
feeling it was
Hi.
crit. I don't know why, but I did.
Of course.
Okay, so it looks like that the blue ring is infantry, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, so it says here that infantry soldiers wear an infantry blue disc under the seal, the presidential seal that is on the campaign hats,
Mm-hmm.
and that's pretty much all I can say about it. I thought it meant something else, but apparently not.
Okay. Good to know.
So that's what that means.
So I take it none of your drill sergeants had that, correct?
Actually, 2 of them, to my knowledge, did.
Hmm.
Actually, no, 3 of them. That's my fault. 3 of them did, where one of them was from 4th Platoon, the other was from, we had 2 of them from 2nd Platoon.
Okay. Cool. All right. But anyways, back to AIT. So AIT, if I'm comparing it to my A school,
Mm-hmm.
most of your time was spent in the classroom, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
And I
So
don't know how it was for you, PJ, but because we were a small MOS, there were actually some things that we got to do that normally others wouldn't be able to do.
like what?
So I'll actually show you. So here's kind of a small slideshow on the United States Institute, on the U.S. Army Institute for Religious Leadership Facebook page, where we actually got to have snow cones.
Oh, sweet.
So over here on the far left is actually the command sergeant major for the institutes, who serves under the commandant.
Cool.
And
And is that
so,
the commandant right there helping serve?
no, the commandant is Colonel James Palmer Jr., and he is actually not present right now. Here's actually a few of our battle buddies. There's these 2 on the ends were actually from my platoon, the Grey Wolves, and then
Cool.
person in the middle was from the Spartans. And then here's actually a few of my battle buddies that follow me. Like here's Folkert right here. And then right next to him, you can't really see him too well. On his right side, this was Jones. And then here I am just kind of talking to my buddies here.
Yep.
Yep. So we're just kind of talking to each other, chilling for a bit. And it's not just us, but it's also all these different officers that are either instructors or they're candidates to become chaplains. And so it was definitely a time for all of us to kind of talk to each other like regular people, where we just kind of forget
Nice.
the rank, forget the fact that they were chaplains and we were the mics, and we just kind of talk to each other.
Okay,
And
cool.
so yeah, here's some more people with snow cones. I don't think the commandant's in these pictures, but we'll be able to see the commandant later in different pictures. Yep, and that's the end of that little slideshow.
Okay, cool.
So it was definitely nice to kind of get away, from class, and it was actually a bit of a surprise where.
Look behind you, Michael.
Yeah, I see. It was actually a bit of a surprise that there were snow cones in the first place.
Yeah. So, what sort of stuff did you learn in the classroom?
So, I learned on like counseling and all this good stuff, because one thing that I get to do as a 56 mic is that I actually help the chaplain when it comes to setting up services on Sunday, as well as I help any potential counselees if they need any sort of help. I can talk to them.
So you hear that, Crit and Cash? He's gonna be the Deanna Troy of the army.
Yeah.
Oh, is he? Oh boy.
Yeah. And then not only that, but I also
See-
learned how to do things like count up offerings. And there's actually one time where I did count up an offering for real in AIT.
So okay, so I'm curious about that one, because what really is there to teach you other than count the money?
So it's more about interacting with people and knowing what sort of materials you'll need, because there's so many different army programs that is offered. We kind of have to talk to a person in order to know what to get for them. And
Okay.
also we have to talk about like interacting with people from different countries when we're deployed, doing things like setting up field services, setting up memorial services. It's a whole lot of stuff. And it's a lot of the same stuff too, just in different environments. Like anybody can set up a field, like anybody can set up a service here on base, but only a few people know how to set up a service out in the field. And you also have to literally be a religious affairs specialist, as in you have to know your religions pretty well, because there's certain rules
Okay.
like for Islam and Judaism where you're not allowed to have direct contact with the sacred text. Like you can't touch it unless you're like wearing gloves, wearing or you have like a cloth, or it's wrapped in plastic.
Because of the word, yeah.
Yeah, and that's assuming that you're not like a follower of like Judaism or Islam or whatever seems to, or whatever.
Okay, see, that one I didn't know.
Yeah.
Because believe it or not, I actually had for a brief time a copy of the Quran when I was in Bahrain.
Yeah.
I don't remember where I got it, but I had one for a while.
Yeah. That's another thing too, where you have to respect different cultures' beliefs. Like, let's say, well, PJ, you can actually talk about this, because I remember that you had to somewhat follow the customs of Ramadan, didn't you?
Yes. So basically what that meant is when we were in Bahrain, which for those that don't know, Bahrain is a Middle Eastern country. It's a little island in the Persian Gulf that is connected to Saudi Arabia by a bridge. Because it is a Middle Eastern country, it is a predominantly Islamic country. And being that we were guests in their nation, just as a courtesy, we would follow many of the same things that they would follow during the Ramadan season, even though we didn't follow their religion. Basically, what that meant for us is anytime that we went out in town off base, we had to wear long pants and long sleeve shirts. And we could not be seen during daylight hours eating, drinking, smoking, chewing gum, anything that is outlawed in Ramadan during, the fasting hours. On base didn't matter, but on base we had to respect, but off the base we had to respect that.
Yeah. And the reason behind that is because, let's say, for example, you who are trying to build like protection, or you have to build like some form of alliance with them. What's the best way that you're going to do it? You're going to follow by their rules and try to establish some trust with them.
Exactly.
And some other things that we learned was actually some other stuff that we had originally learned in basic, but they felt like they wanted to expound upon, which actually brings me to this set of pictures here. And this is actually going to be my field exercise that I did in the AIT.
I think, is this the one where I've seen you with the picture of you wearing your sunglasses holding your rifle?
Yes.
Okay.
And these are probably the best pictures. So here we are, where I'm going to just kind of go through it picture by picture, where it looks like here's one of my instructors here with one of the chaplains, which that's actually one thing too. These pictures only cover day 3, but we were out here for about 3 days and 2 nights in a fob. And so here we are. Some of us are carrying like the medical bags.
I think I see you in that group.
Yep, here I am right here. Kind of in the background right there.
Okay.
And yet all of us decide to put on our sunglasses just because we thought we looked cool.
And just as a side note, were you issued those or did you have to buy those?
So we were issued ones, but the ones that I had were broken. So I just got the dark shaders that were already issued to me.
Okay.
Yep. So here we are. Looks like we're just getting ready and just getting briefed on what's going on. And this day, we're actually responding to a mass cal. So here's another picture of me right here. So what we're going to do is...
That's the picture that Mom pulled and pretty much spread everywhere.
Yeah. And here's actually 2 of the MOSTs right here. So here we have Sergeant Payne. And if you look closely at his patch on his left shoulder, he was actually part of the 82nd Airborne Infantry.
Mm-hmm.
And then here's another one over here, Sergeant Shalo. They both helped me out pretty well. And every now and then they would actually ask me questions like, what is the nomenclature of an M4? Which, believe it or not, these are actually questions that NCO boards would actually show us. Here's actually one of my drill sergeants here. And he was kind of the typical drill sergeant where the push-up was his favorite exercise, but he was an AIT drill sergeant, so it wasn't like he was all up in your face.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's good. You probably are like, dude, I don't think you can pull off that mustache, man.
Technically, the mustache was somewhat out of regulation, but he was trying to get it changed.
Oh, really? Wow,
yeah,
okay.
But it's okay anyways.
Those guys were pretty cool, though. Can you actually joke around with some of these people? Or
the MOSTs?
Yeah.
Yeah, they were really cool people. You still gave them like the similar respects as you would any other NCO enlisted person, but for the most part, they were just another student.
Nice. That's actually what I was about to ask myself, because that had to have been a little bit weird. Here they are, the same rank, say, as your drill sergeants, but they're learning alongside you.
Yeah. If anything, we kind of looked up to them, and they kind of helped us out.
So did they assume class leadership or anything?
Not really. Class leadership was given to anyone who was like me, like behind one of the MOSTs here. The person in the middle, he was our student first sergeant.
Right. And real quick, go back a picture.
Yes.
The gentleman there with the beard, he had what you guys call a no shaving profile, correct?
Yes. Which is actually something I tried to get when the drill sergeant noticed I had so many razor bumps, but I ended up not getting it.
I would think about pursuing that when you know, in the future.
Yeah.
I have
Yeah.
I have a question. In
Yes.
your MOS,
Mm-hmm.
you know that is you are you assigned to a specific religion? You know, you can do any religion assistance, or it's just one specific. You know.
So, to my knowledge, I am assigned to one chaplain, and I take all orders from him. But to ensure that everyone in the unit is getting the proper religious support, I might get in touch with different chaplains. But
Meaning
I'm
that
still able to.
a chaplain could be of any religion, right? Or it needs,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
a
Yes.
chaplain can be of any religion, but their denomination will usually be marked on their headgear or their uniform, where
Hmm.
I would say 90% of the time you're going to see a cross, which resembles some form of Christianity.
Okay.
I believe a Jewish chaplain would have the Star of David. An Islamic chaplain would have the crescent moon.
I think
Right?
so, but we can always look it up later.
Mm-hmm. I remember when I was in boot camp in the Navy, our barracks pretty much had its own. There was a chaplain for the barracks. Now, of course, they worked out of the chapel, but
Mm-hmm.
we had our own chaplain that would come by and visit us, and he had the cross also, but he was actually a chaplain for the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints,
Mm-hmm.
the
Yeah.
Mormons.
So yeah, here's one of the chaplains here that's giving us a brief. And let me zoom in on him real quick, where you can
Yeah.
kind of see the cross on his headgear.
Hmm.
That's
Mhm.
that's really what determines what denomination the chaplain is. But we do have like Islamic chaplains as well as Jewish chaplains. In fact, I think we also might have a Buddhist chaplain, whatever that's supposed to look like.
Yeah. I used to have one of my previous priests, pastor. He was a chaplain, and he was a colonel. So
Yeah.
yeah, he was in the Gulf Wars. So he did the mass while in battle. So
Mm-hmm.
he tells the stories. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah.
So yeah, right now we're just kind of getting briefed by them in this set of pictures here.
Mhm.
And I actually want to highlight the person on the left because he actually was with us during our mass casualty simulator
Ooh.
as the chaplain. And oh,
What's going on here?
they're getting smoked. I forget why though, but they just had to do like maybe 10 push-ups.
Hmm.
But still, just the fact that they had these pictures in here is just priceless.
The one on the far end does not look like she's having good posture.
Yeah, that's she's looking like how I used to do push-ups. So yeah, it looks like we're actually heading off now to our Moscow. And I actually had to carry the rucksack, though granted I carried nothing. So here we're actually now pulling security. Because what we're doing right now is actually a simulator of like native people kind of interacting with the military and us giving some sort of support to them.
Mm-hmm.
Here's some more pictures of me.
I know Mom pulled that one too.
Yep. There's another picture of me just pulling security. There's one of my battles. Yep, and pretty much what we're doing now is just establishing security. And here's another picture of me, but the camera just focused more on the weeds than myself. At this point, I was actually laying down in the prone. Yeah, pretty much everyone's down on the prone because that's what you do if you're pulling security for like more than 20 minutes. And here, one of my battles actually had a good idea and decided to take off his rucksack and get into a bit of a supported position.
That actually is pretty. Did any of your instructors notice that?
I think they did. They just didn't really care. one thing that I did do is that, you know, those medical bags that were in the ACU pattern?
Yeah.
I did that the day before, or this day, as like my supported fighting position.
Okay.
So yeah, right now, looks like they're just getting ready to interact with some of the civilians. There's my instructor there just kind of watching over everything. And then here's actually what's going on. So looks like my battle buddy here on the left is like the squad leader, you can say.
Mm-hmm.
And then this is like his assistant here. And then what they're doing now is that they're trying to extract as much information that they can out of everybody. Because for all we know, the civilians that we're interacting with could very well be the enemy. So what we're supposed to do here is that if we're pulling security, don't talk to them, like whatsoever. At least that's the way I understood it.
And the guy that they're talking to that doesn't have his cover on or his top, he's basically playing the role of the civilian, right? As well
Yeah.
as the guy back there behind him.
Yeah, that's what is going on. They're the chaplains, but they're just role playing with us.
Okay.
And funny enough, my battle buddy here, Jones, actually does give some information saying like how many of us there are and why we're here, which is something you do not want to do, like at all.
Wow.
But in this time, both the chaplains were like being pretty loud because in a field environment and you're talking to somebody who's from the place that you're deployed in, to them, this is their home. So they're pretty relaxed about the way that they're acting. But in our mindset, we're like, okay, this place is actually pretty dangerous. We need to be quiet here. Otherwise, the enemy could spot us. So yeah, here's some more pictures of role-playing and security. And then here's actually, whenever I get to one of my battle buddies from Simon, we'll probably have one of the best pictures. So yeah, looks like they're just kind of talking to our team leaders. Oh yeah, here's probably the best picture ever from my battle buddy named Simon.
Okay.
Just because of the way that it's angled. So yeah, just more pictures of them role playing. It looks like we're getting ready to head off to the mass casualty now, where we have to
Hold on, go back a picture. I saw something interesting.
Right here?
No, one more. Okay, so way back in the background, that barrel that's sticking up diagonally, that is a clearing barrel, correct?
Correct.
I've seen one of those before, but the ones that we use in the Navy are way smaller than that.
Yeah. So the rule about that is that whenever you're coming back into the fob, you always cleared your weapon, no matter what.
Yep. Same with the Navy. Anytime that you're loading a magazine and then round into the chamber or unloading your weapon. The idea behind those, for those that don't know, is if for whatever reason there's a negligent discharge from your weapon is being pointed in a safe place to minimize any injuries.
And the worst that'll happen after that would be doing push-ups, if you use the clearing barrel, of course.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, now we're just kind of walking through the woods here to our Mascal site. And we actually had to do land nav and all this good stuff while in fighting positions.
So real quick, define real quick what land nav is.
So what we do is that we take a compass and a map, and we actually have to plot points to where we're going. And we have to like use the scale to determine how far it is, and then by which direction we have to go. We have to then shoot an azimuth to where our compass is, which an azimuth is like the angle from which point A is away from point B. So like let's say point A is like down at the bottom, but then point B is like at top right. You would probably say that your azimuth would be like at 45 degrees or something like that.
DJ Ronnie G calls it orienteering.
Orienteering. That's another way you can say it.
Good night, Alan.
Which another thing too is that the grid azimuth was not the same as the magnetic azimuth, where to get to grid to magnetic, you would always follow the instructions on the map, whether it said you have to add this amount of degrees or subtract this amount of degrees to convert from grid to azimuth or from grid to magnetic to grid. And it always depended on the map. So yeah, I'm just going to go ahead and just kind of skip around because just some more pictures of us in the woods. Oh, here we are. This is our mass cal. So for anyone who doesn't know, mass casualty basically means this, where you have more casualties than you're prepared to take care of. So like, let's say you have 9 casualties, but you have like 7 beds. That's a mass cal because you have more casualties than supplies that you had anticipated for, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's what's going on right now. They're just getting them on some litters, trying to drag them into different areas. And each person had a different injury, where some people had like a leg, some people leg broken, some people were dead, some people literally had sprained into ankles and all that good stuff.
Oof.
And yeah, that's one thing that's happened sometimes. And here's actually our master sergeant here, who is kind of role-playing as the senior medic. And then our instructor here was being the senior NCO to the medic. And in this case, the head doctor, I believe, is an officer, I think. So for the squad leader, he was pretty much everywhere at once. Even trying to get to the doctor to calm down for a bit because of how intense the situation is. That's what you would do.
Yep.
And a bit of a...
Hello to Darth Weaven. Thank you for joining. And by the way, your Samurai Vader outfit at the convention was 10 out of 10.
Oh yeah.
If y'all haven't seen pictures of that, just hit up Darth Weaven. I'm sure he'll show you.
Nice. So a bit of a funny story in this picture, where in the moment, the squad leader, the MOST, was actually getting into a bit of a heated argument with the NCO. I mean, of course it was fake, but it just felt so real that hands very well could have been thrown that day.
I believe it.
And so my role while this is all going on was that I was actually pulling security behind these buildings, where I was actually responding to enemy contact. And my battle buddy Simon over here, he had literally the greatest job ever, where he had actually to roleplay a traumatic brain injury, where he was just told to have fun with it, where he kept on acting like he was hallucinating, like how his dad was around, how he had to walk his cat, whatever you could think of, you name it. Like, it was the funniest thing ever.
Nice.
I mean, let me be clear. It's not funny because obviously in a real situation, it's not funny.
Of course.
But in this situation, it was definitely funny. And so here I am. I actually just got back from security. I was just trying to check out the casualty and trying to figure out what to do with them, because I was pulling security. I had like no idea what was going on. So I was just trying to think of what's going on. And then here's the chaplain right here, kind of helping us out, giving religious support. And then in this moment, I was actually trying to help retighten the litter. But unfortunately,
which is the thing that you carried them on.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, this one is a sled litter.
Okay.
Oh, and here in the background, you can't really tell. There's Simon over there where he decides to go outside.
And they're trying to restrain him and bring him back.
Yeah.
Nice.
And so pretty much after that, we had our like a little ceremony, and it wasn't long when we were actually given our graduation.
And then you came home.
Yep.
Awesome. Well, it sounds like that was definitely an interesting and certainly good for you time, both boot camp and AIT together.
Mm-hmm.
And now you're home, and now you are to report to Fort Eustis for 1 weekend a month, 2 weeks in the summer, correct?
Yes, and the 2 weeks will be happening in July.
Okay, awesome. All right, so now that we've heard your story, now you get to ask us about anything that's been going on with that while you were gone. And we'll go ahead and get the first one out of the way now. Book of Boba Fett. Cash and Crit's most painful show. Yeah.
I was actually waiting to watch that with a friend, but we never really got to. So I've been kind of doing some other things where.
All right. Then so we're going to keep this spoiler free then. In that case, I did not like Book of Boba Fett. It was not at all anything like The Mandalorian in a bad way.
Mm-hmm.
Is that about how you guys would describe it, Cash and Crit?
Nice description.
Take all the good things about Boba Fett and make it weird and cringy.
I am going to show one clip, though, from Book of Boba Fett to just set the tone for the whole show.
I think I know what you're gonna put.
I promise you, Michael, you're not ready for this.
Like a panther. Yes.
What?
Oh, I'll do it again.
Like a panther. Yes.
Don't remind me.
I knew you were gonna put that.
Nice.
You'll just have to watch the episode to find out the context.
I'll be
Yeah.
glad. I think I talked with Felix about how they could fix that, but yeah, that show. No, I don't want to rewatch it.
Yeah,
I'll rewatch the guest star ones though. Those one of those episodes.
I only like 2 in a certain spot because I'm a sucker for one of the characters that is presented there. But yeah, and I will always love that character. But yeah, it's pretty interesting. And also, I noticed something. Nobody has talked about the making of Boba Fett. The gallery. No channel. And there's some.
I didn't even know they had done one.
Yes. I told Coach about that. Nobody has reported anything on that, and there's a couple interesting things there. So yeah, it's an hour long.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. While I was doing that, I actually decided to scratch off some movies that were on the list that I haven't yet watched.
So which ones are those?
So I watched Aliens.
Okay. Have not seen either of those.
And I think Full Metal Jacket too.
Oh wow! You went
sweet.
You went a dark side.
Okay. So
you gotta watch Alien.
Okay, so spoiler free then for all 3 of those movies. What did you think?
So I do think that Full Metal Jacket definitely deserves its reputation that it has. But I feel like that after the second half but after the first half of the movie, and you'll get what I'm talking about, PJ, whenever you watch it, the movie kind of just felt really dry afterwards.
I know.
Because there's only one reason why you want to watch Full Metal Jacket.
And that's for Arlie Ermy.
Yes.
I know what
Yeah.
you're talking about. It's when they go from one spot to the other and it kind of drags on. Yeah, I know that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Now, for Alien and Aliens, on the other hand, I would say this movie, well, both movies were pretty ambitious. Because, for one thing, just given the kind of technology that was in the 70s for the Alien movie itself, it was definitely somewhat of a challenge, I would say, for the Alien and to be made, and also to be able to interact. And it was kind of a slow movie too, but it wasn't like a super slow movie. And then for Alien, since it was like maybe almost 10 years since
Mhm.
the first movie, it was like it was definitely a risk because of how far apart those movies were. But I do
Yes.
think that the second movie, kind of like Terminator, was just slightly better than the first one.
That's kind of what I hear too, and I'm
They're-
looking forward to seeing
They're
it.
two different genres. The first one's a horror movie. The second one is kind of an action movie. So I don't compare the two.
Yeah. Yeah.
I would still say the first one is one of the scariest movies,
Yes.
especially if you watch it blind.
Yeah.
So let me bring up real quick the list of movies that I have seen, Michael, so that you can see how that's expanded these days.
Yeah. And maybe I can see if I had seen some of them as well.
Yes. Okay, so let me bring this on screen real quick. So you've seen Wrath of Khan. We see pretty much these top 5 we've seen, I know.
I have not seen Wrath of Khan.
Oh, that's right, because you haven't been following Trek.
Yeah, I have not.
Okay. You need to see Hook.
Yeah,
Hook
I have not
is
seen that.
Looky. I got hooked.
It is amazing. You need to step out real quick, Felix.
Yeah, I need to step out. So, Mike, again, congratulations for becoming older, and we will talk again. And I hope that next year you can go to the ICCC. So you're gonna have a nice time. So
Absolutely.
everybody, bye, Cash, bye,
And
Lord Great.
Bye.
Was great to meet you over there,
Yes.
Lord Great. Spending time with you was excellent, and obviously,
was
Paul,
fun.
we have a lot of fun in the ICC too. So yeah. So good night, guys.
Good night.
Good night.
See you.
So, so yeah, you need to see Hook. It's Robin Williams, basically Peter Pan story. It's really good. You were there for The Wizard, I remember.
Mm-hmm.
You need to see Bloodsport. You were there for, I think, for Iron Eagle.
I don't think so.
Oh, well, you need to see Iron Eagle.
Yeah, I don't.
You for sure need to see RoboCop. And I'll tell you this, your friend Shavla, this is wait, no, not RoboCop, Top Gun. That's another one you need to see. And Shavla really likes this movie. I'll let you know.
Yeah. We'll see what happens, because when my Instagram got hacked, we kind of stopped talking just because I don't know.
Right. Which, real quick, let's talk about that for a moment. Your Instagram getting hacked. When did you first notice that happened?
Like immediately.
And this happened, what, a month ago now?
Yeah.
Wow. So for those that didn't know, this guy hacked Michael's Instagram and started posting BS. Oh, Charlie's back. What's up, man?
Yeah.
So yeah, this guy had hacked Michael's Instagram and was posting this BS stuff about crypto.
Yeah. Yeah, it was not. Well, first off, it was my fault that it got hacked, because someone else had got hacked and I fell for their trick.
I remember that. I had the same thing happen with my Facebook once.
Yeah, and I've been pretty much trying like crazy to actually get it back, but at this point I've got like no way of doing it.
Of course. So anyways, back to the list. All the Harry Potter stuff that's on here, you remember Pretty much everything. Pretty much the only things that I know for sure you didn't see was Bloodsport, Iron Eagle, RoboCop, and Top Gun. And of course the Trek stuff, but that's... And you still haven't seen Rubber yet, have you?
No, I have not, but I'll probably do that one day.
Okay. Talk specifically, don't just tell me that you've seen it, tell Matt Cave you've seen it. He will want to know.
Deal.
Yes. So yeah, that as far as watching things is what you've missed while you're gone. Of course, you already know about the convention, which we've talked about that enough.
Yeah.
I've told you Cash had to step out. I've told you already about the gaming channel. Now we have Master Paul's Game Room, where these days I've been doing nothing but playing Skyrim, and it's been driving Lord Crit insane.
Yeah.
But it's Phil's favorite games, and I like it too, so I play it. But
yeah,
I've been taking a break, and yeah, Animation Friday has been going good. Star Wars Obsession has been Darth Weaven says never enough con talk. I know, but at the same time, I don't want to make Michael feel too bad for missing it.
Yeah, but it sounds like I've been doing pretty well, where we both scratched off a few movies from our list, as well as doing some more things, and who knows, maybe I can add something to the gaming channel.
Absolutely. In fact, I might have an idea for something we could do tomorrow.
Yeah.
Because there's been something that I've been doing a couple times, Brother versus Brother, where me and John would play Mario Kart in here together, or Smash Brothers. Maybe you and I could do something.
We could.
But yeah. And then, like I said, Animation Friday, we've added some new people to the roster. Star Wars Obsession now has been invited pretty much every week. Same with Nate and Nerdporeal Lifeform. Unfortunately, Coffee has had to take pretty much an indefinite leave of absence from it for reasons I'll tell you off stream.
Okay.
And of course, Tuesday Night Trek is still going strong, which I know I tried to get you into the original series. Would you be willing to sit down and watch a little bit of the Next Generation with me?
Well, I would say yes, but only if we're able to do the originals as well, because at this point, in fact, I need somebody to walk it through with me.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. In fact, I have Blu-ray copies of the whole original series pretty much right here that I will give you.
Yeah, because I was going to see if I can watch it on my Amazon Prime account, but
you can't just do it. You can't do it just on Amazon Prime anymore. You have to have Paramount Plus. Okay. So to save you some so to save you some money, I will loan you these Blu-rays.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So Crit is the one that sort of set the tone for me for what to expect once you're done, of course, with the original series, for what to expect with the Next Generation. So Crit, would you mind doing the same for Michael?
If you don't like it's a new cast of TNG. If you start from the beginning and you force Paul to rewatch the first 2 seasons of you.
I like the first 2 seasons. What are you talking about?
Are you sure there's Code of Honor and such gems?
I'm positive. There's also Carnus.
Anybody?
Hold on. I have that clip.
Anybody?
Oh, and
sir, I know this may finish me as an acting ensign, but
shut up, Wesley.
And one more, even though Phil's not here, I have to do this one.
You can't
Phil,
punch.
If you see this on the replay, Phil, yes, Picard can throw a punch.
So, TNG I'm not a big fan of TOS. I've told Paul. I like the movies though. I like the TOS movies. I don't like the TOS show. The first 2 seasons are like TOS, but they kind of didn't know what they were doing, so it kind of comes across as cheesy and really weird. But they so the reason why TNG gets good is they begin to focus on the crew itself in season 3, and that's kind of where I think the show finds its peak, and that's where it's one of the greatest sci-fi shows ever made is in season 3. Though there are some good episodes in season 2, and I can't say the same for season 1.
I can. Encounter at Farpoint. At the very least.
That's the pilot. That's yeah. I think you would like TNG. There's a lot of morals in the show. There's themes, but yeah, pretty much when the Borg join the show picks up, and yeah, so give TNG a chance. It's truly an adventure.
Yes. And I'll tell you this also, Michael, you do not need to have seen all of TOS to understand TNG.
No, it's its own show. It's its new show. No. They do I think they reference old Trek a couple times, but that's kind of like an Easter egg.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, TNG is great, and we need to do our Best of Both Worlds watch party again. So,
which will be tomorrow.
I wonder if Michael should just watch Q Who, and then maybe he could participate in the Best of Both Worlds watch party. Or that actually, no, he would be like, who are these people?
Yeah,
he would need to watch the show to understand the characters, but. Yeah, the TNG's a good show.
It is, absolutely. Another show that Crit got me into that I think you would really enjoy is Arcane, right?
Yes.
I have heard of it, yes. In fact, one of my coworkers actually watches it pretty well.
Yes, Arcane. It is based off of League of Legends, but again, you do not need to have played League of Legends to understand Arcane. It is a great animated show.
Yeah.
Let's see. What else? Of course, Charlie's been talking to me a lot about Doctor Who, which we now know who the 14th Doctor is. And how you feeling about that, Charlie?
I'm actually quite excited for. I'm probably going to pronounce his name wrong. Suti Gatwa, I believe it's pronounced. I'm really excited to hear. I've not seen any of his work, but I've spoken to a few people who have. Apparently, he's a really good actor. He's in Sex Education, if you don't know. He played one of the gay characters in it, and I think, it's going to be a really exciting season coming up, and hopefully, with a mix of his acting and Russell T Davis's writing, they'll be able to fix a few things that happened in the previous era.
We'll see what happens. Admittedly, I'm a little bit disappointed it didn't go to David Tennant, but we'll give this guy a chance.
Yeah, but there is still a possibility that David Tennant can still show up in a special at some point.
So Michael had to step away, I think, to use the bathroom. But yeah, that's Michael's back, and all is right with the world again. So real quick, while Michael's gone, Cash, I do want to talk to you and say a big, big, big thank you for stepping up. I've told you this multiple times, and I will continue to for as long as you're here, but thank you for coming in here and being a more than perfect stand-in for Michael when he was gone. You and Crit, because Crit is kind of is pretty much a member of this channel too. At least I think so. you guys have brought a new insight to this that I certainly would have never considered. And I know Jonathan and Michael wouldn't have either, because we do kind of think alike. So again, thank you to both of you for coming in here and picking up the slack. They probably had to step away too.
You're welcome, man. Sorry, I'm busy.
It's fine. Cash did have to step away, so I'll have to say that all again to him when he comes back. So, now that Michael's back and now that I'm back from the convention, we are going to get back onto our normal schedule. So again, it will be Tuesday Night Trek and on Tuesday at 9. Thursday Who, for these first few, it's just going to be a pre-recorded video of me by myself talking about, I guess you could say, the pilot of Doctor Who, however long it takes for Charlie to get settled back in his new home in England. But once that happens, it'll be the two of us live together going through Doctor Who the same way that we're going through Star Trek. I don't know yet about the time because, of course, we'll have to deal with that time difference and we'll have to find something that works for both of us. But we will get it done. And then, of course, Animation Friday will come back again, also at 9. And then, of course, our Sunday streams at 9. And I think I'm going to do this too. Wednesdays, I'm going to save specifically for gaming streams. Like, if I only do one gaming stream a week, I'd like to do one as often as I can. But if I do only one gaming stream a week, it's going to be on Wednesday. And of course, now that Michael's back also, we're going to be really ramping up the pre-recorded videos again. So I think actually the next pre-recorded video we're going to do, I know you and I had done one, Cash, but I think we're going to do another reaction to Kenobi and get Michael's take on it. Oh yeah, I forgot Cash isn't here right now. Shoot. So yeah, that's what you guys can expect for the channel. And Charlie, you talked about starting your own sort of podcast channel, right? You want to go ahead and share what you got so far with that?
So far I have a logo and a name designated for it. It's going to be called the Citadel Radio Show. Still not 100% sure if it's going to be purely audio or visual as well, but that probably won't get fully kicked off until I am settled down back in England.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. In fact, I'm trying to find the logo that you sent me.
If you want, I can send it to you again quickly.
Oh, here it is. I got it right now. So this is what he is thinking of for his logo.
Nice. Actually, is pretty good.
Yeah, that absolutely is.
It's based off the Gallifrey Citadel, which is the sort of main city on the home planet of the Doctor, with also sort of sound signals radiating from it.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Oh, and Michael, I forgot to mention something else too.
Yeah.
You missed hearing an incredible musical performance from the great stalacpipe organ at the caverns.
Of course I did. As much as I
had to.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's pretty much it that I had to think of. Is there anything else that you wanted to know as far as what's been going on around here on YouTube or otherwise?
I think that pretty much covers it.
Okay, cool. DJ Ronnie G says that he thinks your logo is fancy, Charlie. And he says, I like how it's a clean-looking vector graphic.
I'm actually sending you the updated official version of it because I redrew it to make it, more crisp and better.
Okay. Yeah, I'll
It
show
should
that on
be
here before we go.
should be on Messenger now. Maybe.
I see it. Yeah, let me. Oh, and it's much bigger too, so it'll be clear. Let me grab this. Yeah, that does look much better. Okay, so I think we're gonna go ahead and sign off. I hate to do it though with Cash not here. That way he doesn't come back and realize, oh crap, I'm the only one left. But at the same time, well, Crit, are you able to get in touch with him, let him know we're signing off? Or are we just kind of waiting on him?
I messaged him on Discord.
Okay. We'll wait a little bit until he gets back. So I guess while we're waiting, let's talk about this. What did you Phil, go to bed. He says hashtag we need more Skyrim. It's too late to play Skyrim tonight, man.
We need more revitalized. That's what we need.
We need more Godzilla.
We watched that all last night.
Watch it again.
Oh, yeah, we gotta watch it. We'll watch it again. It's actually a really good movie. Yeah, you guys like Perry Mason? He was in that one.
Never heard of him.
Oh, he's an old actor.
Yeah. DJ Durrani G says the cool thing about vector art is that it can be saved at any resolution without pixelation. Interesting. So let me ask you this, Crit, what did you do today for Mother's Day?
Went to the movies.
And what did you see?
I'm trying to remember. It wasn't Doctor Strange. It was some kind of movie. Shit. Oh yeah, it was Uncharted, which is pretty good video game movie.
Okay.
Yeah, very very good movie. Although it was not Tom Holland. They say he's Nathan Drake, but to me he's just playing another Tom Holland Peter Parker character.
Right. Yeah, I can kind of see that too. But yeah, we after church went to Longhorn Steakhouse in the next city over with our extended family on our mom's side, and that was the first time I'd ever been there, and it was really good.
Yeah, it was.
Charlie, your mom's still in England, correct?
Yes.
Did you get in touch with her at all to wish her happy Mother's Day?
Yep, I did.
Awesome.
Wasn't much though.
Well, at least it was better than nothing.
Yeah.
DJ Ronnie G says, dying to see the movie with Godzilla Earth in it. That Godzilla variant is huge.
I don't like
I
those
believe it.
movies. They're anime movies, but they're ridiculous. We watched the movie we watched was Godzilla 1984, I think. Yeah, we're gonna watch another one though. Phil's got Godzilla on the mind, so
I believe it.
Justice for Godzilla, yeah. Justice for Star Trek 4.
Justice for Johnny.
Mm-hmm. Michael, I'm sure you've been keeping an eye on that, right?
Yeah. For the most part, it's been more hilarious than it has been, well, just, oh no. just been pretty important to me just because the man got screwed over.
He did. Like, bad. Well, guys, I can't think of anything else to say to stall for time. So I'll just message Cash saying, hey, don't worry about coming back in for ending. But we're going to go ahead and log this off now. Is there anything, Michael, that you want to say in closing?
Well, all I can say is that it's good to be back. So thank you all for having me once again.
Yeah, absolutely, man. And again, oh, Pacific said check my Gmail. Let me check this real quick before we go. I bet I know what this is. Where is it? Spam. Yes.
What is it?
It is the commentary that Pacific, Cash, and Baron Ormond Tag did for my fight against Mexican Iron Man. So I am downloading that now. Yes, I'm downloading it now. It's going to get uploaded to the channel tomorrow. But anyways, guys, we're going to go ahead and shut this down. So thank you guys for watching. Make sure to hit like and subscribe if you haven't already. And just remember, everyone, the Force is family. See you later.
Thank you.